On the 31st of January 2023, I recorded an episode of the podcast with CEO of Rivervale Cars Limited, my good friend Vince Pemberton. On every episode, I always ask my guests who has inspired them throughout their journey. During the whole of this episode, it was clear that Vince's dad, Alex Pemberton, had been that person for him, not only as a father, but a friend, business partner and confidant. Unfortunately, since recording the episode, Alex sadly passed away earlier this month. My thoughts are with Vince and his family at this time, and for me this is a reminder, as you'll hear, and as Alex would often say to Vince, don't take anything for granted. This is a tribute to the late Alex Pemberton.
Dad was always a wheeler dealer. Dad was always been dealing in cars and vans and trucks even, I think, at one point. And I think that's in our blood. That goes back to, I think I may have said to you before, that my great-granddad. So Dad and I used to sit there, which is, now I think back, it was so wrong that we used to get a Scout electric car, like a Mercedes SL or whatever, and then we would cut bits out of it to put bigger, wider wheels on it on the Scout electric track. And I was brought up in this culture to work hard, but never take anything for granted. And I still live by that today. And Dad had taken a used car site, and I recall it was November 1987. He went, "Look, you're coming down. Why don't you come down? Come and work with me. Come and start off by doing some valeting and bits and pieces." Dad was doing what we call trading. So he was trading, buying cars from one dealer and selling it to another and all this sort of stuff. And he said, "Why don't we get a little office, and you can do what you do best, one side of the office, and I'll do what I do best, the other side of the office." So in May 2001, that's what we did. We set up this little business called Eagle Oak Vehicle Contracts. Dad had helped us get along the way, and then Dad went back to doing what he did before. Suffered with a couple of health issues since, but that doesn't stop Dad. Dad still knows how to make a pound into £2. And I often joke with him that if you dropped a tenner, he'd manage to catch it before it hits the floor. Dad's very clever at those sort of things, and he does keep my feet firmly on the ground. So I think he's really pleased with how the business has gone on and grown. That he helped us, start.
It's amazing.
Couldn't have done it without him. I could still hear Dad going, "Don't take anything for granted." I could still hear Dad in the background with it. Dad was also quite a heavy rocker when he was a young fellow, and I said, he was 19 when I was born. So I grew up listening to Led Zeppelin and people like that. So I'll put my earphones in. I'll put Led Zeppelin's greatest hits in as I cut the grass. All I do know though is that I'm going to make the most out of every day in that journey, whether that is at home or driving the business on at work or supporting people. The door is always open. So where I'll be, I can't tell you. I'd love to still be the CEO of Rivervale Cars Limited, because it's just such an honour and a privilege to be there.
What is your one rule for living a fulfilled life?
Never take anything for granted. Never take it for granted.